this whole prospecting thing here, right? Prospecting is simple, guys. It's really doing the share list, right? So when you do the share list, it's simple. When you do the share list, the reason why you want to do the share list is there. First thing you gotta do is to help you to identify, right? So when you make the list of names and numbers, right, it's gonna help you to learn how to identify people and qualify people, right? This right here is the thing you want to learn. So it's not so much about doing it, it's about learning it. So once you learn what is prospecting is share list. You make a share list, a list of names and numbers of everybody you know. So that way you can then identify. Who you gonna identify? You're gonna identify them by if they're relatives, if they're friends, if they're acquaintances, right? That's the identity. Then the qualification is when we use the 8 qualifier.
All right, well, I'm gonna put my flip flops on and then go to that social club.
That's the thing. So you use this 8 qualifier. The 8 qualifier helps you to identify who's your top. It helps you to identify who's your top 25. Because you probably hear them say make a top 25 list, right? Now, you can't find your top 25 until you don't identify and use a qualifier. Well, what is it that you're looking for? You're looking for someone that gets 5 out of the 8. Right? If they get 5 out of the 8 qualifier, then that's someone that's on your top 25. Right? So that's how you use that to identify who's your top 25. So you're looking for your target market based upon the amount of people that 5 out of the 8. Right? So now you go into step 2 in the system, contacting. Now, when it comes to contacting, you want to sit down with your trainer and you got to be making 30 plus calls a day. Right? Now, could it be just phone calls? But it's just contacting. It could be texting, it could be emailing, it could be DMing, it could be dropping by, right? Stopping by someone's house, share with them real quick. Hey, I want to share with you something, right? Stop by, drop by. Calls, 30 calls, right? So you do this with your trainer, right? Because everything is about training. Because guess what? The goal is this. Write this down. Well, if you're recording it. 10 calls. Maybe your code said 10 is 2, right? 10 is 2, right? You contact 10 people, you get 2. Easily. 10 is 2. So easily knowing that if I'm going to contact 10 people, I'm going to get 2 appointments. Just the numbers, right? So once you know the numbers, you know for every 10 calls I may get 2. At least 1, right? And if you get 10 yes, your goal is to get at least 3 to show. It's the numbers. So every day I know the numbers that I gotta run at. So I run the numbers. Because the goal is for me to have at least 20 to 30 appointments a week. Guys, you know I'm averaging over 25 appointments a week? Easily. Sometime a day I'm doing like 10, 15.
I don't want to go over there where they're at.
Right? You may say, well, Ken, is it personal? No, it's working with my team. Right? This person may even do a field training. This one, right? So I'm always working within the team. Right? So then it goes into step 3. Presenting. Now, when you go to presenting, the first presentation, what we got to do first? Who knows? What's the first presentation we have to do?
The bot?
Yeah, the bot. But you know why we do the bot first? Because remember, everything's about joint own share, right? So why you got to do the bot first? Is so you can teach people about the opportunity so they join, right? And then if they join, what's the second presentation we got to do? The HOP. What's the HOP? The new rules of money presentation. Because the new rules of presentation helps people to understand what they need to own, right? Because it's based on financial education. Now, if they decide to join, what's the third presentation they got to learn? They got to learn how to do a fast start, right? Why the fast start? Because it gives them the confidence to go out there and share. That's the joint own share concept. But you got to learn all this. How you going to learn how to do all this? You got to do all of this within at least 10 to 20 field training appointments. The quicker you get this done, the quicker you learn all of this. And if you can see all of this 10 times, what you gonna know? You're gonna learn how to do it, right? That's the business. So what I call this section right here, this is called the introduction. The intro. That's the intro to our business. So once you learn the intro to our business, you gotta learn how to become a closer, right? So if someone decide that, hey, I see a presentation, what's the fourth thing in the system? A follow-up. Why do a follow-up with them? It's so that we could do an interview. You know why we do the interview? It's so that we can identify. You see, everything is about identity, right? It's to identify. So the quicker we can then identify where these people see themselves in the business, they see themselves as what? If they want to join, or if they want to own, or if they want to share. And what they do. Say if they want to join, what they got to do? An AMA, right? If they want to own, what they got to do? FNA, right? If they want to share, what they got to do? Give me some referrals, names and numbers, right? And then once they do this, then you got to go to step 5. It's called a startup. So how do you start up somebody? If someone joins a business, right? And they do an AMA, what do you got to teach them? You got to show them this. You got to eventually fast start them. You got to fast start them. The AMA leads to the fast start. ASAP. If they decide, because remember, this is join, right? This is join. Now, if they want to own, how do we start them up? We got to do an FNA. What does the FNA lead to? Solutions. See, so many people come in our business think that we're in the life insurance business. We're not. We're in the business of helping people create a financial foundation. We show them how to put together proper protection. We show them how to manage their debt. And we teach them how to create an emergency fund. And we show them how to save and invest their money. That's our system. That's our business. So there's many solutions. But the way you get through from the own, you do an FNA, from the FNA to a solution. But the solution then gets you what? Paid. But it's a step, right? You can't skip the step or rush the step. You got to do it systematically. And then when it comes down to the share, when someone say, hey, I want to share you some referrals. What's the share? The share is the referrals. So what's the referral? You know, after you do that whole the FNA section and you do the solution and you give them the referral sheet and say, who's 10 to 20 people you know who could benefit from this education? Ultimately, that's what you do. So you always want to ask for at least 10 to 20 referrals. Right there. That's join, own, share. But you see the steps? Once you get guess what? Once you get these 10 referrals, 10 to 20 referrals, what you gonna do with them all over again? Step 5, step 6 now. Duplication. And duplication is what? Teaching someone how to do from step 1 through 5. That's the step. But then when you duplicate it, guess what it does? It helps you to produce people that could do 3, 330, or people who could do 5, 530, or people who could do 10, 10, 30. That's the whole reason behind duplication. Because what you're going to duplicate them to do all of this. And this is where you build closers. That's how you build closers in the business. So ultimately, the only way all of this work, you notice it's a step by step. You see the steps now. That's the steps. But the only way it works, right, is if we adapt this simple concept called trust plus credibility, right? Credibility, and that will equal success, right? The only way this works is if we adopt this mindset. Trust plus credibility equals success. And the trust starts with you, the trainee, the brand new person. And the credibility is with the trainer. So the relationship between here and here is a leveraging. You gotta leverage each other. The trainer don't have the trust of your prospects. But guess what? Your prospects don't look at you as a credible person when you first start here either. So you and your trainer is a partnership. Your trainer needs you, you need your trainer. It's a leverage playing field. But guess what? You need your trainer more. Because the trainer has the credibility to build your business. But build your credibility with your people that trust you already. So it's someone vouching for you that you're awesome too. Does that make sense? So now the trainer's job is to get you to the success. But this process to get you here is called field training appointments. And you want to do 10 to 20 of these a week with your trainer. 10 to 20 of these a week. And guess what? This is where you'll lead to a minimum of 330, or better, let me call it something better. 3 in 7 days, in your first 7 days. 3 recruits, 3 solutions, 7 days. But everything you have to trust your trainer through this whole process. And this mindset is how this whole system flow. That's the business. In a nutshell, that's the business. And then eventually, you become an educator. Right? And then from an educator, you become a trainer. And from a trainer, you become a coach. Right? But you got to remember where you are. You see, in the first 30 days, master being a student. You see, within your second, this is 60 days in. That's the second month, right? Within 90 days, you become a trainer. And guess what? Within a total of anywhere from 3 to 6 months, you develop yourself into a coach. Because you know what a coach is? A coach is someone who will do this. Write out the play, but run the shot. They could write out the play, but also run the shot. Because this whole concept here, it lets a brand new person understand that it takes time. It takes time, and you gotta be patient with your understanding. But most importantly, you gotta work with your trainer and leverage your trainer along the process very quickly. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you're gonna walk away with more results that are duplicatable. So the thing I tell people all the time, be teachable, coachable, and reliable. Mindset. That's the business.
Overall, how did, what did y'all feel? How did it go?